Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today I have another writing tips video for you, and we are discussing my top 10 tips on writing characters with physical disabilities. Before we go through those 10 tips, a few examples of books that are already doing this that would be good to read if you are thinking of writing characters with physical disabilities. That is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, where the main protagonist does have a physical disability where they break very easily and takes a lot longer for them to heal, and also Immortal by Su Lin Tan, where the protagonist sort of suffers from, I believe, similar to chronic fatigue syndrome. In both of these examples, the characters are not treated differently. The world around them is modified to assist them so that they can live their best lives and be like everyone else and function, rather than being judged or pushed to the side. People are often afraid to write about characters with physical disabilities because they're scared of getting it wrong. However, people with physical disabilities are the same as everyone else, and therefore your characters will be written the same as everyone else, just with a different physical boundary. And people with physical disabilities, like people with mental disabilities, should be represented and included in the vast array of characters within your work. With that being said, let's get into my top 10 tips for writing characters with physical disabilities. Before we get into that, don't forget, if you like what you see, to subscribe to the channel. Your continued support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. Number 1. Research. Physical disabilities are varied and there is a vast amount of them. There is a vast difference in how you deal with them, and the severity of them also differs from person to person. If you are planning to write a character with a physical disability, then talk to people who have that disability, people who are living their life with it. Research. What does it entail? What could be difficult? What is not difficult also? What do they use in order to do everyday things with this physical disability? For example, even wheelchair users don't always need to use their wheelchair 24/7. Research. Number 2, beta readers. Are you sick of this piece of advice? Maybe. Should you still listen to it? Hell yes. Very important. Use beta readers, particularly beta readers who have the physical disability you are writing about. They will know better than you, unless you suffer from the same physical disability as your character. Use them. Get beta readers and critique partners to check your work. They will tell you honestly if something is misrepresented. Number 3, sensitivity editor. There are many different types of editors. I'll pop a link above to my video explaining different editor types, but a sensitivity editor is someone who edits your work for sensitive subjects, and they will have specialized subjects. There will be people who read and edit for searching for racism or sexism, but there will also be editors who look for physical disabilities. They're just an expert, usually within that category of people who are trained to edit writing and will check your work for sensitive subjects. Number 4, avoid stereotypes. A major one to avoid with this is the triumph over adversity. Just avoid this. A physical disability is not something people need to be told they need to achieve over, that they need to succeed regardless of this. It's just a fact of their life, and this should be this way for your character. In Rebecca Yarros' work, they do not succeed in spite of their physical disability. It's not about their physical disability whatsoever. It's just something that character lives with whilst carrying on the main plot of the story, which is fighting the scary ass demony people. Also, likewise, in Immortal, overcoming this physical fatigue is not part of the character's story. It's not something they aim for whatsoever. Their main goal is to protect their people and become a great ruler. Another example of stereotypes to avoid is not all wheelchair users are paralyzed from the waist down. There's other reasons to be in a wheelchair other than the legs not working. Another thing as well is people with physical disabilities can still be physically active people. They don't have to be scrawny. They can be bodybuilders. They're not limited by this physical disability. It is a part of something in their life. And this links into number 5, not helpless. Disadvantaged, not incapable. People with physical disabilities are not helpless, and they don't want to be helpless. They want to be able to do everything for themselves. They want to be able to do things that everyone else can do. That is one of the things that people are fighting for is, people in a wheelchair, for example, they want disability access because they want to be able to take themselves to the bank and go up the ramp. They don't want to have to ask someone to carry them up the stairs. They don't want to have to go elsewhere or not be able to use that convenience like everyone else. Someone with a physical disability, like in Rebecca Yarris's Fourth Wing, can still fight. It might just take them slightly longer to recover. You can also create opportunities from the use of aids. For example, a walking stick can become a great spear. You can use things. A wheelchair can be the super speed fast getaway going downhill, which all other characters can jump on to get out of the scenario they are in. It can often be a pro. It can be an advantage. Use it. Number 6. Always major. The disability does not need to be the main point of the character, and it does not always need to be the most severest case of that physical disability. It doesn't even need to be named. It can just be something going on in the background. People with that physical disability will see the representation of it. For example, if you have a character who has chronic fatigue, you can just show that they are fatigued, that they are in pain. You don't need to name it. The representation is important, but it doesn't have to necessarily be the whole story. Number 7. People are people. A character with a physical disability is still a character. They still need a character arc. They still need a goal. They still need the full wealth of personality. The physical disability does not define them. It is a part of them, but not who they are. Number 8. Coping mechanisms. Everyone is different, and some people will be accepting and open about their physical disability, and others might try to hide it. Some people likewise are born with a physical disability, and some people develop it in later life. This can play a big role in how your character represents this physical disability, how they react to this disability, and also the different coping mechanisms they have to deal with it. For example, someone who is born without their sight doesn't know what the world looks like. So they could have their own version of it in their head that other people couldn't even think of. Likewise, they will have great coping mechanisms for how to get around without their sight. Whereas someone who's lost their sight in later life, they may miss being able to see, or they may, they don't have a different view of how the world looks because they've seen it prior to losing their sight. Number 9, caregivers. Caregivers are not always needed for someone with a physical disability, and something to really avoid is if your character does need a caregiver, is not allowing the caregiver to be the main protagonist in the other person's story. Don't let it happen. They are not the superhero. They are not the main protagonist. Their life is not the important detailed one. It is the person with the physical disability you are writing about. And number 10. Avoid negative representation. Physical disabilities are often shown as a negative thing, and it really doesn't need to be. People living with a physical disability are already aware of what they have. They're already aware of the impact it has on their life. It doesn't need to be this negative, awful thing, because it's not always like that. Society is so wrong in presuming that everyone with a physical disability wants to be a typical person and doesn't want to have it. That is not the case. This sort of links in together. You don't need the story to be just about the physical disability. If you have a physical disability, it is, yes, a major part of your life. It's something that you deal with. It doesn't define you. It's not who you are. You are a full-rounded person, and you are not just someone with a disability. And it's not always negative. It's not always seen as negative. If a disability happens in later life, then could be seen as slightly more negative because the person's life has had to change due to that physical disability. But if you're born with it, it's what you've always known. Why should it be negative? A great quote regarding this is by John Milton. To be blind is not miserable. Not to be able to bear blindness, that is miserable. And that's it for my top 10 tips on writing characters with physical disabilities. I hope you found this useful. Like with all my videos, if you have other tips you would love to give, please comment down below. If you yourself do have a physical disability and you would like to comment to say how you cope with it or how you would prefer to be represented, what you wish media would show, then also do comment down below. The main point is to remember that a character with a physical disability is exactly that. They have a physical disability, not that they are that physical disability. You are writing a character, a person, the same as every other character in your book. Do get beta readers, do your research, and remember, it's not always a negative thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you like to see as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Tumblr. I post more bookish pictures, as well as writing tips and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye!